That's right. Yeah, some portrayed that as a cave by Obama in taking the Buy American provisions out. But
I'm sure the reason they were in there is because Obama is beholden to big labor for a lot of his campaign funding, and then big labor feels that he owes them, and that's why the Buy American thing got in there in the first place.
Right.
So they probably did feel betrayed when it got taken back out.
Yep. There's a lot of the same things repeating. History is repeating itself. We're not learning from it. The propaganda has been so thick that FDR was the savior of America, and at least there's some dissenting voices out there that are saying.
Well, and that's what Obama, the way he feels about it too. He's a victim of public education, I guess. He thinks that FDR was a hero during the Great Depression with the New Deal, and that he's emulating that.
Yeah. His aide Larry Summers and Geithner, they're strong Keynesians. They think that spending is what gets you out of is what was the kind of stimulus you need to get out of a recession. But I know what the real agenda, of course, is to just get control.
You just can't tell whether they really believe in Keynesianism or whether they just want control. You can't tell.
Their instinct is to get control and to create dependency. And there was a very perverse activity with and we'll have to watch for this too. The WPA in the 30s was used over and over again to pump a lot of infrastructure into swing states.
Oh yeah, you can't expect less of the political system. Obama's going to do that too. I mean, you can't expect him to do anything different. That's the way politics works.
Yeah, that's where the $800 billion. It's not going to be a coincidence that a lot of that money ends up in swing states that will lock in the Democratic vote in previously, questionable states. So, it's another great coup for Democratic power. It could be the third great coup since starting from the Depression, and then the second one being in the 60s, where they lock in the dependency vote in the inner cities. And this could be another one if there isn't some kind of backlash. Now, there was an attempted third one with Clinton, and it was foiled, and there was a backlash in 94.
Oh, you mean the Hillary care?
Yeah, the Hillary care was backlashed, and you could even say that Johnson was backlashed by Reagan, and that did create a lot of wealth when he was able to drop the tax rates. But now there's a totally different strategy, because taxes become kind of a third rail. As soon as it's going to be hard to raise taxes to levels of 70 or 90%, which they were in the past on top tax rates.
Speaking of taxes, Obama's got his cap and trade, which is going to be a big carbon tax in the form of carbon credits that the government sells to all emitters. And that's a big tax that's going to be raising billions, hundreds of billions of dollars. Industry is just in the last few weeks, realizing that they're not going to get these carbon credits for nothing. They're going to have to pay for them. It's going to be a big tax, and suddenly they're not for it so much anymore. But what I read recently was the question: has Obama killed his upgrade system by inferring that he's going to use all that tax money to fund his national health care program? Because that is the natural fit of the two programs. One generates a huge amount of money, the other one sucks up a huge amount of money. You put them together, and you've got a going system, and that's what Obama's looking at. With all the cap and trade industry that is favor cap and trade, they expected to benefit from the cap and trade, and now all of a sudden they're going to be used as cash cows to fund health care. They don't like that. So What that means for you and me, Joey, is it might be a good thing because it might kill cap and trade politically.
Yeah. The oligarchs, meaning the people who are vying to be the largest companies, they will still try, I think, to hatch a deal somehow where they get to still make lots of money. But
yeah,
but
trying. but I think a lot of the energy companies now, especially the ones that burn coal, they've turned. They've suddenly realized that they're going to be used. They're going to be what's on the menu, you know. so they have suddenly turned against the cap and trade or any kind of energy tax.
Well, it could be a little posturing. I think there is a tendency toward oligarchy, and that they will want to get special treatment so that they can shut out their competition and be a de facto monopoly with government collusion.
It's ironic, but the greatest enemy of capitalism seems to be the capitalist.
Yeah, once they get so big and can help to serve the interests because it's politically advantageous for Obama to have capitalist allies. That's where you see guys like Jeffrey Immelt and who's another one, the guy at Intel, or a couple of these companies that very large companies stand to get a lot of political favor if they come on board as an ally to the administration. So everyone has a price, and the payoff to them is favorable tax breaks and but you're right, if they get too cute with too ambitious, I should say, with the cap and trade and the penalties on those companies, or the tax liability, they might rebel against it.
Oh, they already have started doing that.
Yeah, some of them. But it sure is strange how so many of them had been supporting all this global warming propaganda.
Well, that's right. Saving the planet's one thing, but it's a lot easier to save the planet if you think you're going to make a profit doing it. If you think you're going to go out of business, then that's another thing.
Okay, Dan. Well, I think we've dug in pretty deep.
For today.
Yeah. Now, is there any positive note? I always kind of hope for a positive note, a ray of hope.
Well, I just gave you a positive note.
Yeah.
Obama inadvertently killed national health care by tying it with he inadvertently killed cap and trade by tying it with national health care. That's an up note, isn't it?
Yeah, if that association is being made, and I'm gonna look for that, because that does give me some hope, and I'm gonna look for those high level executives and companies to see if they're going to switch their alliance a little bit there. And I know Obama's losing some support by the swing voters right now. So any little bit he can save is going to be important. But now we're looking at stimulus 2 and bailout part 2 and TARP part 2 and all these. There's a drip effect that's really hurting his popularity, because this money's going down a rat hole. So we'll see. I think that's probably prime on the administration's mind, and to see if they can stop the bleeding.
Didn't Obama run on the platform of fiscal responsibility? Whatever happened to that?
Well, there's a lot of propaganda that was said in the campaign that has been done an about face on, and of course you can't let a crisis go to waste, as his aide Rahm Emanuel said. So they're trying to get as much through in the ways of controls as possible.
I think that explains it all.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll keep watching them, Dan. Thank you very much for another enlightening hour. And we'll see you next week out in Glendora. And thanks again for your great work.
Okay.
Talk to you soon. Bye.